Hey folks, Mike here, the Security Silverback, and with the holiday shopping season getting into full swing, I want to do this episode as something of a PSA. Specifically, I want to talk about how threat actors can and do leverage the holidays as hooks to make their phishing attacks easier. In fact, I planned to do this episode for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Unfortunately, the holiday schedule and cryptocurrency scam cropping up in the comments for a couple of my videos prompted a bit of rearranging. For my practitioner subscribers and viewers, you should be familiar with everything I'm going to cover here. This session is more for the folks who are not as familiar with the threats. So maybe pass the link on to your friends who could use the education. As usual, I'd really appreciate if you could like and subscribe and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, back to our holiday PSA. For a lot of us, the holiday season is about family and friends and shopping. Trying to find just the right gifts for said family and friends. And we're doing a lot of that shopping online, which is something that threat actors and scammers know all too well. The holiday shopping rush gives them the perfect opportunity to target their emails towards people who are much more likely to take the bait. For example, imitating a large hobby and craft outlet and sending out emails that include coupons for crazy good deals. Those PDF coupons? Yeah, that's a payload. Open it up and you drop malware on your local host. Or, alternatively, they have a link that takes you to a compromised website to try and crack your browser before forwarding you to the real website where you can shop, none the wiser that you've just suffered a drive-by compromise. Fortunately, a lot of the major email service providers recognize this for what they are and drop them in your spam folder rather than your inbox. Unfortunately, attackers know this too and can make their attacks more targeted. For example, rather than copying a big box store of some kind, they get their hands on the mailing list for a smaller local specialty shop, not especially difficult given the number of data breaches. This becomes something of a cast netting attack, where the threat actor sacrifices scope for a higher likelihood of the target falling for the attack. Even better for them, the lower volume means it's less likely to trip up the spam filters. And these are just the obvious ones using targeted email to compromise a victim. Hopefully, that won't be you. And there are a lot more scams out there. The FBI website, linked in the description, has a whole list of potential scams, and it's worth reading yourself, but I'll summarize it here so you won't have to. Since the FBI is talking to a general audience, not specifically folks thinking about cybersecurity, they list the common scams first. Non-delivery scams, where you pay for something online, but you never receive your items. Non-payment scams, where you ship something to a buyer, but never receive payment for them. Auction fraud, where something you purchased was misrepresented on the auction site. And gift card fraud, where a seller asks you to pay with a prepaid card and then never delivers the goods. According to the Internet Crime Complaint Center's report from 2023, there were almost $500 million in losses from non-payment, non-delivery, and gift card scams. I've linked the IC3 report below. The more important part of their post is how to protect yourself, which starts, not surprisingly, with practicing good cybersecurity hygiene. Specifically, not clicking on suspicious links in email, messages, or social media, since it's often going to be a phishing attack or an opportunity for them to land some malware. The other advice here is to be cautious when you see something telling you to update your password or user information. They miss out on the specific advice of making sure you're going directly to sites you use rather than following links you got in email. After all, you're a lot safer using the bookmark you have for your favorite sites than you are following some random link you just got. Actually, it's not just the URL in the suspect message, but the phone numbers too. Are all of these things suspect? No, not at all. Though it is why you look for any link before you follow it to make sure it goes where you expect it to go, and call the customer service line from the real website rather than the one from a suspect link. Honestly, I should probably do a session on how to identify fake links and URLs, because there's enough to explain there to justify it. The rest of the FBI's advice covers knowing the person or business you're buying from or selling to, being careful with how you pay them, or, unsaid, get paid, and finally, monitoring the shipping process. So let's go into a little more detail on these, starting with knowing the buyer or seller. I know it's stepping beyond the usual cybersecurity stuff itself, but it's still useful to know. We already mentioned making sure the website you're buying from is legit, which includes making sure it uses HTTPS and the certificate is valid. The FBI suggests doing some research before buying from a company for the first time and checking reviews, especially for individual buyers and sellers, avoiding ones that have poor reviews. They don't say it specifically, but they're talking about platforms like eBay, Etsy, and other auction or trade sites that let people buy and sell themselves. Another thing they go into is being wary of sellers who are claiming to be authorized retailers for things in regions that wouldn't normally carry the product at all. Ones that say they're in the States, but for some reason are out of country right now, or ones that require a specific shipping method to avoid customs or another country's taxes. To be fair, these are all way sus, as my daughter likes to say, and would be red flags any time of the year. For payments, suggestion is to use your credit cards and keep tabs on your transaction history. That way you can dispute any suspicious transactions. Included in that is the obvious recommendation to avoid using wire transfers or paying with gift cards. That gift card one is so common, I would hope it didn't need to be called out, but here we are. People still fall for it, so the FBI needs to make a point of saying it's a bad idea. And finally, for tracking the shipment, they advise to always get a tracking number, and when you're sending something out yourself, be suspicious if the ship to address and the address associated with the credit card don't match. The bottom line for a seller is always make sure the credit card authorization comes through before you ship. Wait for the check to clear is an old term, but it applies here too. Actually, making sure whatever payment system you're using clears before shipping anything is a good plan. So there you have it. My summary and commentary on the advice the FBI is giving to stay safe this holiday shopping season. I realized a few days passed when I wanted to post it, but better late than never, right? If you found this at all useful, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe and welcome any comments you may have. Except for those crypto scam comments I talked about last session, we could all do without those. Until next time, stay safe with your online shopping, or better, just stay safe in general.